Welcome back to Afternoon Live. She's an animal whisperer and here today to talk about a new concept in veterinary testing. We welcome back the author of Conversations with Animals. Dr. Ava Frick is with us. Dr. Ava, so good to have you back. Last time we talked about the Tai Chi. What was it? Tai Chihuahua.
Tai Chihuahua, sure.
And Griffey loves it still. I still do that with him. So it's really good to see you again and learn something new today.
Thanks. Yeah, so I wanted to tell about hair tissue mineral analysis. It's actually been done in the human industry since the 1950s, but recently it's gaining a lot of momentum within the veterinary profession. And this is about taking a hair sample, sending it to a laboratory, and you can find out, because of how hair matures, it traps all that information about what's happening in the body during its growth phase. So we can test out different minerals in the body as well as toxic metals and find out at the base what's really happening in that body and make better nutritional balancing recommendations.
This is so interesting. So it's called the fur tissue mineral analysis. Is it something new? Has it been around forever?
Well, from the veterinary perspective, it's relatively new. I actually had some research published in 2017 about, we had 564 dogs that we had analyzed and then compared and was able to put together some common patterns. And with that, I decided that I know all this information. It would be a good thing to get as many veterinarians also knowing about it and being able to utilize it. So that's been part of my passion here the past few years, is sharing it at veterinary conferences. And I have quite a bit of following now. In fact, not too far from Portland, there is Dr. Matt Fricke at McKinsey Animal Hospital, and he's been doing this as well. Every now and then he'll call me on one of those unusual, difficult ones, but otherwise you got somebody in your area that's been doing it well too.
So if you have a pet, what kind of things are you seeing that this would be a good thing to have checked out as far as the sample goes?
Well, that's where it's really interesting, because even your little Griffey could have scenarios going on inside his body that you can't detect, because they can be born with these idiosyncrasies. So not enough of a certain mineral, too much of another, toxic metals, because what was ever in their mother. So what the mother has is passed on to the babies. So while you like to think that this new little puppy is all healthy and perfect, they're not, because of the mother. And then through life, you know, like if they're in a home where there's cigarette smoking, they can get a lot of cadmium, poor nutrition over time, other stresses, even your mind, the mental aspect of how one looks at a situation versus another. That stress on the endocrine system then changes the mineral patterns, and it affects how you think, whether or not they have a lot of anxiety. Dogs with torn knee ligaments can come about because of low calcium and magnesium levels. Just so much information we can get from a sample of fur.
So that's something that you nailed right there, because as a you know, having Griffey too, it's like, okay, if I take him in and I find out these things, what can I do about some of them? So it's almost more scary sometimes to find them out, but you're talking about, you know, minerals that you can help combat too before it becomes an issue.
Exactly. It's kind of like having a crystal ball. You can like foretell things. And so for Griffey to do the test, then you would know, instead of just guessing, oh, let's give him some extra of this, or maybe he's got too much of something else, so we'll stop giving him this. You can actually be directed as to which specific minerals he needs more of in order to help ones that may be too high. You know, the body's always, it's that yin yang thing. It's always trying to keep the balance stable as much as possible. So basically for him, it would be maybe some fish oil, maybe some calcium and magnesium, or there are some blends of products that work really well to get them established, and then modifying food depending on what his metabolism is, which we can find that. So there's different types of diets that work better.
This
things
is
like
so
that.
interesting. So do you need just like a little bit of fur? I mean, it's crazy to me that you can find out so much information from just a strand.
I know, isn't that something? So actually we need, you know, it's based on milligrams. So you would take about a teaspoon of a sample. And you want it close to the skin, because the closer you are to being new, the more recent the information is. Wow. So I had a guy one time that was going to do it on the horse, and so he cut off some of the end of the tail. Well, just think how long ago that information was.
Oh, true.
You know, that'd be like years ago.
Yeah.
We want to get information from today. So yeah, so about a teaspoon, and I usually get it from the tummy area so that he's not walking around there, but he's going, well, did he have surgery?
It's because of the fur tissue mineral analysis. That's why.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ava. This is really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah,
always happy to be here.
Yeah, and we'll have more information about Dr. Ava and her book on our website at KATU.com. Don't go away. We'll be right back.